What if one party invitation could ruin everything? In Season 3, Episode 4 of The Gilded Age, the lines between power and pride blur as the city's richest families prepare for war not with weapons, but with words, social games, and secrets whispered behind closed doors. This isn't just about money anymore, it's about control, respect, and revenge. Asterisk as Episode 4 begins. Tensions are high. Bertha Russell is done playing nice. After being snubbed once again by the old money elite, she decides to strike back. In a way only she can by shaking the very foundation of high society, her weapon, a grand charity gala that she controls entirely. But this isn't just a party, this is a power move. Bertha is no longer asking for respect, she's demanding it. Her invitations go out, but only to the people she knows will make others jealous. It's not about kindness. It's about dominance. Agnes Van Ryn watches all of this from her quiet, traditional home with growing concern. To her, society should not change. Old names, old money, and old values, that's what matters, but even she can feel the shift. Younger women like Marian are drawn to the excitement and glitter of the new world. Agnes knows that if Bertha succeeds, the social order she fought to protect may collapse completely. Meanwhile, George Russell is not just sitting in the background. He's using his influence in politics and business to strengthen Bertha's social rise. In Episode 4, we'll see him meet secretly with a powerful senator about a railway deal that could give him more control over New York's future. This deal isn't just about trains, it's about who gets to sit at the top table. If George pulls it off, the Russells may become the most feared couple in the city, but not everyone is impressed. Across town, the old money families gather in quiet rooms to whisper about Bertha's ambition. They say she's pushing too far. They say she doesn't know her place. One woman even says Bertha's rise feels like a storm threatening to flood their world, but they're not ready to face it. Not yet. And then there's Mrs. Astor. She's the queen of high society and she feels the pressure closing in. In Episode 4, she must decide. Will she accept Bertha's invitation and give her event power or reject it and risk being seen as out of touch? Her silence speaks louder than any announcement, and the whole city waits for her move. With every detail, every dress chosen, every guest invited, and every room decorated, Bertha is sending a message. She will not be ignored. And behind the scenes, George is doing the same thing with his deals, making sure that the Russells are not just rich, but untouchable. Episode 4 sets the stage for a full-blown society war. But this battle isn't loud. It's quiet, careful, and deadly in its own way. One misplaced word, one missed event, one public mistake, that's all it takes to fall from the top. In this world, reputation is everything, and once it breaks, no money can fix it. Asterisk sometimes what's hidden behind a smile is more dangerous than a knife. And in Episode 4, quiet scandals begin to boil beneath corsets. Behind curtains and inside gilded homes that seem perfect on the outside, but the truth? It's cracking through, and no one is ready for the fallout. Marian Brooke, once a symbol of innocence and tradition, is caught in a silent storm. Her feelings are growing for a man her family would never approve of. He's kind, bold, and not rich. That alone makes him unacceptable to the old guard. But love doesn't follow rules. In this episode, Marian makes a decision that could destroy her standing in society. Will she follow her heart or the expectations of people who never saw her as equal? But Marian's secret isn't the only one stirring the calm waters of New York. Across the city, a mysterious letter arrives at the Van Ryn household. Its contents aren't shown right away, but Agnes's face freezes when she reads it. Her hands tremble just slightly before she folds it again. Could it be blackmail? A past affair resurfacing? Whatever it is, it's personal. And it's dangerous, meanwhile. At the opera where elegance is a mask and every glance is loaded with judgment, rumors begin to circulate. A married man seen too close to a young widow. A wealthy widow seen whispering to a servant. These stories float on champagne bubbles, growing with every retelling. And in this society, gossip doesn't just ruin reputations, it writes new rules. Peggy Scott is also walking a razor's edge. Her job as a journalist is gaining attention, but it's drawing suspicion too. She's working on a story that could shake the foundation of a respected family. But this is more than professional for her, it's personal. She's a black woman in a world that barely tolerates her success. And in episode 4, she learns someone is watching her, following her, not just because of her article, but because of who she is. Downstairs, in the servant quarters, the secrets multiply. A young maid finds a hidden note under a guest's pillow. She doesn't understand the full meaning, but she keeps it anyway. Another servant overhears a conversation through a cracked door, something about money being moved in secret and a name being erased from a will. These are scraps of truth, dangerous in the wrong hands. And someone is starting to collect them. All around, the grand homes are glowing with light, music, and laughter. But behind those walls, hearts are breaking, trust is slipping, and something is coming, a scandal that could link the highest names in New York with the lowest shadows of its streets. Episode 4 doesn't shout. It whispers. It passes secrets like folded napkins and hides threats in polite smiles. But make no mistake, what's coming will stain reputations forever, because in the Gilded Age, silence doesn't mean peace. It means something wicked is. Near * some betrayals don't come with shouting or slammed doors. They come with a smile, a handshake, or a soft of course before the dagger goes in. Episode 4 reveals that even in the most polished drawing rooms, trust is a currency too easily spent, and once it's gone, alliances begin to twist in the shadows. At the heart of the chaos stands Bertha Russell, more determined than ever to control her own empire. But even queens have traitors in their court. One of her closest allies, someone she personally lifted from obscurity, is starting to move against her. Maybe it's jealousy. Maybe it's survival. But in this episode, they whisper to Bertha's enemies, offering information in exchange for protection, a guest list, a financial deal, a private secret. And Bertha doesn't even know it's happening yet. Across town in the Van Ryn household, blood ties are cracking. Agnes and Ada, sisters bound by tradition, are now sharply divided over Marian's future. Ada wants Marian to live her own life. Agnes wants Marian to remember her place. The disagreement turns cold and sharp, and by the end of the episode, Ada says something she's never said before. You're not protecting her. You're trapping her. That sentence lingers. It breaks something between them, but betrayal isn't always cruel. Sometimes it's the only escape. That's what Marian is learning. She meets someone unexpected, a woman from the working class, educated, strong, and completely unafraid of high society. They form a bond. Quietly, Marian begins to see a different way to live. A future not built on marriage but on independence. But trusting this new friend means risking everything, her home, her name, and the only life she's ever known. Meanwhile, a powerful alliance is being forged in a dark corner of the city. George Russell meets privately with a rival industrialist, someone he once tried to ruin. The conversation is tense. But both men understand something. The old money families are trying to push them out. And if they don't join forces now, neither will survive. What starts as a business deal quickly becomes something more, a shared mission to rewrite the rules of power. They toast, not as friends, but as necessary partners in a war that's coming fast. And in the quiet servant world, another alliance takes shape. The maid who found the note is no longer alone. She's joined by another worker, one who knows how to read the movements of the rich. Together, they begin to piece together a larger picture: affairs, stolen money, secret heirs. If they play their cards right, they could hold the fate of entire families in their hands. If they make one mistake, they'll be thrown into the street with nothing. Episode 4 teaches us something brutal. In the Gilded Age, no loyalty lasts forever. And when the rules of society crack, new bonds form not out of love, but out of need. Betrayal isn't the end. It's the beginning of the real game, because when the knives come out, you don't need to be the strongest. You just need to know where to aim. Wars don't always begin with soldiers. Sometimes they begin with seating charts. In episode 4, the battlefield isn't a field, it's a ballroom. And the weapons are invitations, whispers, and who's wearing what color. This is high society's version of war. And Bertha Russell is leading the charge with her gloves on and her eyes locked forward, Bertha's grand charity. Gala is no longer just a social event, it's a line drawn in gold. Accepting her invitation means standing with her, refusing it? That's a declaration of loyalty to the old guard. The city holds its breath as carriages roll in, and one by one the powerful arrive. But every name called at the door, every step up those stairs, is a message to the world. Bertha is either being crowned or challenged. Inside the ballroom, its pure beauty light pouring from chandeliers, gowns shimmering like rivers of silk, music rising from the string quartet. But beneath it all, tension coils like a snake. Mrs. Astor finally appears, hours late, her expression unreadable. She steps into the room and doesn't bow, doesn't smile, just looks around slowly. Everyone watches her. One look, one glance, and she could ruin Bertha with silence, but she walks in. That walk alone shifts the balance of power. Meanwhile, across the city, those who refuse the invitation gather in their own drawing rooms, sipping tea that tastes like bitterness. They mock the gala, call it too much, but deep down, they feel the tremble of something changing. The lines are no longer clear, the rules aren't working. And episode 4 shows just how fragile that structure has become. The real war, though, begins after the party. Bertha's guest list has consequences. One woman finds herself uninvited from another event the next day. A man's business deal falls through. His only crime was showing up at Bertha's side. The punishments come fast and quiet, like poison in wine. Everyone is watching. Everyone is calculating. And while the rich fight their silent war, the lower class is learning how to move in the cracks. A servant uses what he overheard to blackmail a guest. Another slips a stolen letter to a rival journalist. Secrets are no longer hidden, they're for sale. And information is becoming more valuable than gold. Even Marian, torn between two worlds, begins to understand the truth. This war isn't about justice, it's about power. And power, in this city, belongs to whoever controls the story. By the end of episode 4, she's no longer the same girl who needed permission. She's learning how to play. As the credits roll, one line echoes, a voiceover, maybe from Peggy, maybe from Bertha. In this city, they won't kill you with bullets. They'll kill you with silence, and that's how it ends. Not with fire, not with blood, but with eyes turning away from you, like you no longer exist. In the Gilded Age, survival isn't about being liked. It's about never being forgotten.